Okay, so this is just a quick guide to buying saws. A lot of people, you stand in front of the saw fixture, you look at a website, you see lots of different saws, lots of different patterns, and you must be wondering, well, no idea what one saw does, what another saw does, why would I want that saw, why would I want that saw. If it's just general purpose sawing, if it's just kind of bits of timber, rough timbers that you're doing, all you need to know is that really with saws there are a couple of different lengths. There's a 20-inch saw and a 22-inch saw. The difference is purely the length of the blade, and to be honest it's more of a geographical difference. Certain people prefer a 22-inch, certain people prefer a 20-inch, it makes no difference. Most people don't tend to use the full length of the blade when they're cutting anyway. So 20 or 22, whichever is your preference. 20 tends to be a bit cheaper than 22. Next thing to look for is the teeth pattern. There are two different types of saw, normally called a fine cut or a heavy cut saw, sometimes called a first fix saw or a second fix saw, and the difference is the number of teeth per inch of the saw blade. A heavy saw or a first fix saw will traditionally have round about 7 teeth per inch of the saw blade, and because of that it gives you a very, very fast cut, rips through material very, very, very quickly, particularly softwoods, but it will leave you with quite a heavy, rough cut. A fine finish saw or a second fix saw has up to 11, could be 13 or 12 teeth per inch. Smaller teeth, not as aggressive, not as fast on the cut as a heavy cut saw, but will leave you with a very, very, very smooth finish. So if it's decorative work, if it's skirting boards or architraves, then it's a fine finish saw that you're after. When you're looking at saws, normally saws are either billed as being double ground or triple ground, and again the difference is the speed of the cut. A double ground saw, the teeth of the saw blade are sharpened on both sides, so that's two different cutting angles. Normally they'll be billed as a universal saw, and a universal saw is referring to the fact that it will cut as well along the grain as it cuts across the grain. Double ground saws are fine, do a job for you. They'll cut just as good as a triple ground saw. The difference is a triple ground saw is the teeth are sharpened on 3 sides versus 2 sides, and because of that they will cut on the push stroke and on the pull stroke. So in theory they are about 50% faster than a double ground saw. In terms of the finish, both be exactly the same. It's all about the speed of the cut. Another thing to look out for with saws is the handle. Obviously a bi-material handle is better, gives you a little bit more grip, gives you a little bit more control, is a little bit more comfortable. Another feature to look out for, normally when you're sawing it's nice to be able to hold your finger along the saw blade to keep it in control, keep it in check. So look for a finger rest, and also look for something called a hard point or an induction hardened blade. That means that the saw has been put through an extra induction hardening process, which means the teeth are hardened so it lasts a little bit longer, which is important if you're using a saw for quite a long time. Last thing you want is to get halfway through a job and find your saw doesn't cut as well as it did when you started. So induction hardened, triple ground or double ground, 20 or 22 inch, and the handle is up to you, but you choose the right saw for the job.